I started dancing
pal.
like Trump halfway through the intro, and I just committed to it. But I was doing the two
How
arms like.
dare you not say greetings, pal?
Greetings.
How dare you?
Well, this is an SNS. We just
it's
say
short and
weird
sweet.
shit. Yeah.
we say
we
weird
dance
shit
like
in
Trump and we
every
say
episode.
Yes, but this is the only
It's not-
episode where we reference the fact that allegedly Donald Trump went down on Bill Clinton. But like, we don't have to talk about that right now. We can.
Yeah.
He allegedly loved it too.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, he's got the mouth for it. We could say huge.
So here we are, short and sweet.
Short and sweet. We're talking about horror icons. So I'm ready to contribute a lot. I've done a lot of research, a lot
when
of reading.
you think horror icon, who do you think of, Frank?
What pops in your head? Go. Quick fire.
Galinda?
Galinda.
Okay.
No. Cynthia and Ariana from their press tour.
Okay.
That's horrifying.
Yes.
I would have thought it would be
True.
Idina Menzel, but clearly.
See, that's actually.
Missed opportunity.
I wish you hadn't brought her up.
Yeah.
That makes me so mad.
Now, yes. I can see you're angry.
Frank just PP'd.
Because they just did a concert with the four of them singing like a bunch of Wicked songs. And I'm like, why would they bring her back to ruin the fucking harmonies? Great.
We digress.
We digress. Okay,
Very heavily.
horror icons. What do you reckon?
What do we
Marcus,
reckon?
What do you think of when you think of horror icons? Who's
Well,
the
look, I-
iconic horror figure?
I brought this up because I wanted to talk to you boys following my recent watch of the, is it 2019 Tom Cruise's The Mummy? Frank will be able to confirm that in a
I don't
second.
know if it's 2019. That feels like a little
2017.
late.
2017.
Okay.
Gotcha. I watched that
Back
film
when films,
now.
back when films were good.
There's a lot of record, like that film copped it pretty hard.
Yeah.
And when I went in, obviously with very low expectations, I watched it and went, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I can see where it went wrong, and I can see what they were doing was trying to very obviously launch the Dark Universe and this this building, the building blocks for, introducing Jekyll and Hyde and the Wolfman and Dracula and everything they were going to do. And they just rammed it down your throat, and they even end the film on like a very obvious,
Like Trump.
We'll be back, No. Gross.
Oh, sorry, like Clinton.
Like Clinton.
Like
yeah.
Clinton. I was way off. Allegedly.
We'll be back.
It made me think what they're now doing and what I think they're achieving really well with, Robert Eggers, who's out there doing a lot of horrors. You've got Jordan Peele, who's resurfacing, the Candyman and all this other sort of stuff as well.
As
There's
a producer.
As a producer, but there's a lot of these original IPs getting rebooted, re-raised, back from the dead, so to speak. And I guess I wanted to talk about that with my pals.
Which is funny because I spent a decent amount of our most recent Frankenstein episode like on a tirade about how annoying I find the recycling of these things. But I still think it's like it's always valuable to look at the legacy of a lot of it, which 100%. At the moment we're in the sort of like Universal monster, Dark Universe stuff. So we've got like the Wolfman, Dracula, the Mummy, Frankenstein. Like these are the big ones, right?
They did the Invisible Man there recently.
Alien? The Xenomorph?
Probably not quite from the same
No.
Predator.
we're talking about here, Frank. So more.
I'm just trying to get The Fly, Jeff Goldblum.
Sure,
but then you move into sort of your
But like more modern iterations
more
of these
modern,
things.
that's
but
right,
yes,
yeah,
the classic stuff in the
icons.
the early times of cinema, like when you go back to even the 1910s, 1920s, 1930s, this is what they were doing. They were using these very gothic novels. They had Bela Lugosi as Dracula. They had Boris Karloff as Frankenstein, right?
That's right.
Jekyll and Hyde. I can't remember who played it, but like, and all these like characters that sort of were the progenitor of our idea of what horror movie characters look like. Marcus, have you seen the original Frankenstein, the 1931 version?
I have not, nor its sequel,
Bride Frankenstein. I haven't seen Bride. The original Frankenstein's 70 minutes long, and a surprising amount of that is about wedding planning. Like, it's a weird movie, but it has Boris Karloff's like amazing performance, like very vulnerable, given that he is dressed like what we think of as the go-to Halloween style, flat top, green. Well, it's
Bolts
black and
coming out
white.
of his
The
head.
bolts, and he just like he doesn't actually, he never speaks. But it's a very upsetting performance because you can tell there's a humanity buried beneath the grotesquerie of it all, and how much the film is clearly sympathizing with this character, despite the fact that he drowns a little girl in it. And
whilst I
he doesn't
agree
know
with
what
you
he's
that
doing.
it's a bit icky trying to reboot these modern iterations now, I kind of love it because you look at the Universal classics, they were between the 20s and the 50s.
Yeah.
Film has come a long way since then, very obviously, and I think that if you're going to do it, now's the time. I'd rather reboot something from the 1920s and pay homage to it or do something interesting with it or whatever they're trying to achieve now, rather than reboot something that was done in the late 80s. Like, it still doesn't feel that long ago.
I see what you mean. And it's the
Like
question is
the It franchise, for example, which is it's a remake. It's not a retelling. Like we just spoke about Frankenstein last week, and it's like, yeah, cool, that's been done, countless times in Frankenstein type stories. But and we said like it didn't really take enough of a swing to be a new. I mean, I think it's a good film, but
Absolutely.
The It franchise, for example, is purely just like, hey, let's remake it.
yes.
Not shot for shot, but you know what I mean? It's not like let's try something brand new.
It's true. And it's probably the presumption that something that's more recent has the propensity to be scarier, which is both like probably a natural train of thought and a bit counterintuitive because people normally have grown sick of and like begin to parody the things that have been most recent. It's why like Scream and Scary Movie were essentially like right next to each other in release because Scream was the winking parody, and then like Scary Movie was the pulling its pants down and farting in your face parody. It was just like so obvious what it was doing.
And which one do we prefer?
I was saying to Frank the other day, I don't think I've ever sat down and beginning to end watched a Scream movie, but I've seen enough of the first one to basically have seen it all. Like I know what
They're
happens.
fine. I think if you're a millennial and you grew up at the time, they were great. You always talked about it as a kid.
Matthew
Going back
Lillard is so good in the first one.
He's very good,
really
actually.
good in the first one. And
He's a league of his own, though.
Yeah.
Truly. I think looking back on a lot of those early 2000s films and that late 90s sort of resurgence of classic slashers and everything like that, not great on a rewatch. They're fine. They're a bit of fun. They're very nostalgic. I don't think they're very well made.
We should talk about that because I think what's interesting about talking about these the classic Universal monster movies from the 20s, 30s, 40s, and even like Nosferatu, which of course is not in that same purview. Like it wasn't a Universal film; it was a German expressionist film directed by F.W. Murnau, with Max Schreck as Nosferatu. Like some of these original prototypes or versions of these characters, they are so creepy and iconic. But it would be maybe misleading to say you watch any of those movies now. I'm speaking from my own experience, but like they're not scary in the traditional sense. They have like so much of the early draft and understanding of what we found creepy to no longer quite have that same effect. I would argue some of the movies from the 70s and 80s are still scary. I watch some of those movies now and they like upset me and frighten me.
Yeah, those especially the psychological classics when you're looking at like The Exorcist and Rosemary's Baby and Psycho and that sort of genre of horror.
We've talked about The Exorcist, and that is a still very viscerally frightening film.
Very upsetting, and I think that it's the content itself rather than needing a sort of a slasher icon or an object to sort of project onto, much like the Halloween films where you have this blank slate of a Michael Myers sort of killer, where by design Michael Myers was given this sort of rubbery mask that has no real features.
The William Shatner mask.
Yeah, so people could project their own imagery almost onto it and create their own fear.
Yeah, baby.
It's really clever how they've done it, but like, whereas a psychological horror, you're doing a lot of the legwork, or they give you the tension, and your brain just goes with it.
Sorry, I had to unpack Tom's reference.
I saw how the journey you went on there, Frank. That
because I was like William Shatner doesn't say yeah, baby. Mike Myers, Austin Powers.
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
it's good.
no.
Yeah, baby. But I'm glad you didn't let me interrupt you, Marcus, because your point is very well made. Do you find Halloween, the original Carpenter one, scary?
Not really. I find. Even going back and watching Elm Street.
I definitely would. Like I don't think.
Did you watch Elm Street like I suggested, Frank?
No.
Oh, you should.
Marcus
I still
suggested
think you
that.
should.
What was that last night at like 10 o'clock? I was like, no thanks. Like,
No. Don't leave it till night time when you're going to pee-pee.
It's Freddy Krueger, Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
The original Nightmare on Elm Street, which I watched on a plane last year for the first time, is really upsetting. Like, that is a good movie.
Yeah, it has some upsetting moments.
Oh,
and
my God.
The sequels are not nearly as strong.
This is what I've heard.
There's a lot of campiness to it where you can, on a second watch, when you watch Nightmare and the initial shock factor's gone, it's very fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's actually kind of ridiculous. Robert Englund's doing something so incredible with Freddy, though.
He's excellent.
There's a reason why he's an icon.
I
For
love that
the horror genre.
performance. I've seen the original. So, to talk to Halloween, I don't find the original Halloween that scary, but I do find I do find it spooky. I find it unsettling, and I think that it's got a really like palpable like sense.
I think the
atmosphere.
soundtrack is phenomenal.
Yes, incredible soundtrack, and like
very
just
famous.
the scariness of Jamie Lee Curtis running around the street screaming and no one coming outside is one of those bits that's still very scary. This idea of being in the suburbs and not being able to find help.
Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but also Michael Myers, you can't escape him. Like, he'll never show that he's running or trying to keep up with you, but he's always right behind you.
Yeah,
and that's that feeling like of running in a dream, and you're like, you can't get away from it. And you're like, what?
Yes.
Like, give me some traction.
He's shagadelic like that.
I honestly, like, even talking about great joke, even talking about that makes me feel uneasy. I'm like, oh, I just do not want to see that.
Then
These are not built for you, Frank, for sure.
No. And I feel I should bring up something that kind of inspired us wanting to talk about this, which was we had a back and forth over our group chat about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974, directed by Tobe Hooper, is to me one of the greatest films ever made, and retains to this day the capacity to upset and undo you emotionally and viscerally. That film is horrifying.
Without
really.
without the 74 version of Texas Chainsaw, you don't end up getting your films like The Hills Have Eyes or Wrong Turn or anything where they had these sort of like that hillbilly-esque
even Wolf Creek. Like,
Wolf Creek, the deformity sort of of being stranded somewhere and being alone and being
the parts of
hunted by
America
something.
that are forgotten, like the backwoods that you don't know what goes on there, and most people don't stick around to find out. And yes, that's a very creepy. And at the same time, the sudden and like fucking kind of like discombobulating violence of those movies is like Saw as well. Like, you wouldn't have Saw
then
without
we talk about body horror as like
There is just
we should also
in
quickly
that film.
talk about Ed Gein and not
Charlie Hunnam's performance and
Not
why
Charlie
it should
Hunnam's
win
performance.
the Nobel Prize.
Well, now this is the
I'm doing
new,
just fine, mother. You know,
what the Ryan. Nothing about Ryan Murphy's shows deserve to be talked about.
I agree.
Except for Glee, I would argue.
This is the new sort of horror take now that people are gravitating to, outside of what the likes of Robert Eggers is doing.
Sexy serial, like they're sexualizing it.
Yeah,
and it's such
absolutely. Sexy serial killer. Yeah.
Hideous way. And like before there was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there was Ed Gein. And it's like, technically that's true. Like, he was, but he wasn't really a serial killer. He's just a messed up guy who wanted to sew nipples together to make a belt. Like,
so he's Tom.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah.
So he made some sartorial choices. What are we doing here?
Yeah, it's strange that these things are now like in vogue. Like, serial, like, and we know true crime documentaries and true crime podcasts. All that stuff's massive.
Yeah.
I listen to them; they're very intriguing. But like, you want. At what point is it irresponsible to tell that story and not get any of the facts right and just make it entirely
Hollywood
based on fiction
And
sex? And you're
exploitative.
you have Charlie Hunnam with his kid off in the first 5 minutes.
Sure.
even though he's like mental, and it's just like, you shouldn't.
You were titillated by this.
and hot.
Like, telling the audience that it's wrong that they find this titillating, and then continuing to titillate them and being like, you like this, don't you, you filthy pig? Like, it's a
Say
very...
titillate again.
Yes,
Okay.
titillate.
Yeah.
It's a fun
It's
word.
too late.
That's a fun word.
But yes, I agree. I think a lot of that stuff. Whereas, like, the alternative, which Marcus brought up earlier with Psycho, which of course Norman Bates is based on Ed Gein and based on that kind of like idea of the serial killer who was just the...
But Ed Gein wasn't a serial killer per se.
Not necessarily, but like a guy who has a
Like, he
weird
only killed two
relationship with his
people.
mother and then it has a sadomasochistic sort of fetish and whatnot. And
he's not just killing them for the sake of murder. He wants to, he has a secondary task that's why he's pursuing it.
And Psycho really like affords its character a kind of weird dignity by spending so much time with him and recognizing that there's something unsettling but also alluring about him. Like he has a dark energy that you can't really turn away from, that doesn't feel like the movie is judging you for finding him fascinating. It's kind of asking, you can't help yourself, right? Like there's something about this guy. Whereas with Ed Gein, he's just like, and you're meant to be like, wow, isn't that interesting? Great choice. Like, it's
Tom, for the audio listeners, what was the action you just did?
I just started punching my own dick. Basically.
Violently.
God, thank God. If I was there, I'd do it for you.
Oh, please. Marcus, have you ever seen Child's Play?
Yes, I'm
Chucky.
The Chucky films don't resonate with me the same way that, say, your Nightmare on Elm Streets do, or even, funnily enough, Gremlins. I'm a big fan of Gremlins.
Really?
I love
Okay,
Gremlins.
I've never seen a Gremlins movie. I know the
Gremlins
rule doesn't make
very
any sense.
fun. No, none of it makes sense.
No.
None of it makes sense.
No, nor should it.
But go into Gremlins with that, because that 80s campiness again that comes through, it's still kind of terrifying when you think that, you know, just something so small can be so devastating.
Well, Marcus, you would know about that.
Speaking of punching your own dick, for you, Tom, it would feel like a parody to watch Gremlins now.
But I watched Child's Play for the first time the other day, and while I appreciate that it's doing things that I'm like, this is so camp and this is so ridiculous. Like literally, that movie opens with a lightning storm inside that strikes a child's toy department, while Brad Dourif, bleeding out, recites like Egyptian incantations so that his soul can go into a doll. And you're like, yeah, awesome, great. Like it's quite a fun movie. It's not particularly scary, although it's like it's unsettling, but in a smirking way that I really appreciate. I like that movie a lot, actually. I thought it was a lot of fun.
The thing is, you look at that fear that it creates. I mean, I look at the concept of Chucky or even Annabelle in recent iterations that they've done with the Conjuring universe. The idea of a soul going into a doll and you not being able to, as a fully grown human being, overpower a doll. You know, every time I watch these films, I go, just kick it.
Yeah.
Just kick that thing right in the head and keep kicking it until it dies, right?
It's true. It's like
you don't understand. It's
the imbalance doesn't work. The only
No.
the reason I think it works in Child's Play is in almost every other one of those movies, the doll kind of sneaks up on people. The doll does something without, and which happens in Child's Play as well. But in Child's Play, his superpower is that he's suddenly the most foul-mouthed man ever. So they're holding what they think is just an innocent doll, and it's just like, you fucking bitch, and starts screaming and clawing them. And it's really jarring.
Further to my point, though, if any rational human being walks into a dark room and turns on a light and there's a series of creepy dolls sitting in that room and you weren't expecting to see them, there is something so normal about us to flinch or to jump, even though I've just, obviously made that point. I don't know what it is about dolls, and I think that's what they've gravitated to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go, I feel like they're watching me. I feel like
It's
when I
like-
walk
it's
right,
like clowns.
their eyes go right. Yeah. Same thing.
What all of these movies that, like, obviously the shambling, kind of crazy gothic fairy tale style monsters of the early 20th century, and the ones that became scarier in the 60s onwards or the 70s onwards were the ones that were closer to home. Michael Myers is scary because he's a faceless dude in your neighborhood. Freddy's scary because he's in your dream. What the fuck are you going to do about that?
The one place you think you're safest when you're asleep.
Exactly. Child's Play is a doll that, like, it's just in your house that a kid brings in, right? Even Leatherface to some extent. We were talking about, like, the backwoods stuff, but it's like, it's recognizable.
When you go to the
red state
middle of America
100%. You go to Trump country, that's going to fucking happen, man. Like, that's just it. That shit's crazy. And
He's basically an ice agent.
When you and your friends dare each other to walk through the haunted abattoir, it's definitely nothing's going to go wrong.
Hold on, but can I get back as someone who will never watch it? But Nightmare on Elm Street, how do they beat him is a dream. Like, what's the logic there? How did he become?
Well, that's
I don't want to
a creature
spoil
in
it.
your
I can't
dreams?
even want you to watch
Here's
it. I
the
don't think
thing.
you will.
The ending of the first Nightmare on Elm Street is one of the... It's up there with Carrie as one of the darkest endings to a horror movie where you're just like, oh, fuck everything, I guess. Like, there is no God.
wow.
The end.
It's a little silly, I think.
So they
personally.
don't like do Inception, multiple dreams together, and then battle them.
Not
I think in
quite.
later movies they probably do shit like that.
They effectively just stand up to him. It's kind of like standing up to a bully.
For
They
the power
kinda
of friendship, the power
You know
of
what?
love.
You know what? I'm going to haunt you in my dream now, Freddie. I'm not scared of you anymore.
yeah.
Isn't that
It's
the
the
same
puffing
with
of the
it?
chest and a little
Is
bit.
it that like they have to be not
It's
scared?
face-
and then
It's face your fears, right?
So I recently saw The Black Phone 2, and one of the most disappointing choices that movie makes, when I really like the first Black Phone, is The Black Phone 2 essentially becomes like, just stand up to him in your dream, and then he won't be a bully anymore. Like, that's what the movie becomes. And it's like, fuck, man. Like, this is
It's a pretty
such
common device.
rehashed Freddy stuff, you know?
It's hard to avoid, because the whole point is that a lot of these figures do instill fear in the audience and your film's protagonist by nature.
Yeah.
So by the end of the film, the only way to combat this is to not be afraid anymore, right? To stand up to it. And that's when things usually go awry for the icon, because all of a sudden they're stabbing Michael with their own knives and he's like, hang on.
Yeah.
That's not how this is supposed to
I would
go.
never do well in this universe.
It's what
Any of them.
what continues to this day to fucking say it again, like makes the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre so scary, is Leatherface in that film. Even though he like occasionally has moments where he's harmed and injured in some way, he is kind of unbeatable. Like, there is nothing you can do but run from him screaming. And
I think that's
many
my
people
favorite
do.
horror. Is I don't like a happy ending in a horror.
No, but the Texas Chainsaw Massacre kind of does have a happy ending in the most cackling, maddening, fucked way possible. It sort of does, but it's still horrific because he's still out there and he always will be. Right?
Yeah.
Jason Voorhees, I see you've got up on the screen, Frank. Like, Friday the 13th has never been my franchise. I've seen the first
Me
one.
either. Me
and
either.
I
They're
think
silly.
I've seen Jason X, though, which is the one where he's in space. Kind of fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Jason goes to space.
There's a scene I have to tell you guys about. I'm
Space
sorry. I know this is such a
Yeah.
tangent, but there's a scene in the movie where, speaking of dreams and Inception, they basically put Jason in a simulation where, even though he's in a spaceship, he thinks he's back on Earth at some sort of like typical summer camp where these horror movies take place. And he sees two girls and they're like, hi, do you want to do drugs or do you want to have underage sex? And then they take their tops off and they get into this sleeping bag and they're like, tee, tee. And Jason's looking down at them confused. And then it cuts away from him and it comes back and he's picked one up in a sleeping bag and is beating the other one to death with the other girl in the sleeping bag. And it's so bizarre, but it's kind of great. Like, it's what those movies became. Like, just a total piss take.
I think they're iconic in the sense that they created the formula for your survivor group, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Being picked off one by one. And I think
the last girl obviously is a big
last
thing
girl,
in
the
fucking
final girl.
Halloween. Yes, the final girl,
Final
Halloween
girl.
and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like big pioneers of this.
What do they call the Drew Barrymore in Scream character? The first girl?
Yeah, I don't know if they have a thing. It's kind of like when the black guy dies. It's just the black guy.
The
black guy,
the
dies
first
first.
girl. The first
girl.
Are you being Drew Barrymore?
Yeah,
She has
I
a
was
lift
trying
like
to. I
this.
can't
She's
actually-
going to.
Wow.
The first girl.
I'm the first girl.
You're right. You're
I'm
so
dancing
right.
in the rain. I love Drew Barrymore. She's
I think
outstanding.
Drew Barrymore's really
Okay, if you were to give me one to watch out of the classics,
Oh, shit. I mean, I quick fire, I gave you Friday the 13th. No, Nightmare on Elm Street.
You know what I think is an important movie that has the sort of prestige to it that might make you watch it, Frank. If you haven't seen it already, you should watch Silence of the Lambs.
I've seen some.
Okay,
Yeah, I've seen that.
because that is Hannibal Lecter is definitely the most sophisticated version of all this that we're talking about.
Yeah,
where
I think
he's
so.
he'll eat you, but he'll be polite about it. And
I'm going to stick with A Nightmare on Elm Street, Frank. I think you need to watch that if you want to fully understand the 80s
and maybe
genre.
Blair Witch. I think Blair Witch.
Blair Witch is actually, I'm glad you brought that up because Blair Witch is such a great example of films that I love how it ends because it leaves you stunned.
Yes.
And you want that moment, you want that feeling at the end of a horror where you're like, I don't feel okay.
Well, I loosely know what happens, right?
Yeah, even so, I think it's still going to work for you. It would be interesting to see a 2025 watch of this with you having full context about the Blair Witch as it is, Like, I think it would have been far more impactful back in the day when it was...
Or the marketing was like, this is
people
actually
walked out of that
real.
movie and they were like, those people are dead. I just watched people's last moments and they died.
On IMDb, they had them listed as deceased. They were credited as their own full personal names. The making of that film is horrible, and those actors deserve a lot more.
Yeah, I know.
But it's kind of
incredible marketing,
unparalleled. And then everyone said, well, something like that will never happen again. And while it's not the same because people recognized what was being done, Paranormal Activity was weirdly lightning hitting twice there, where that movie was able to, off the inertia, or the goodwill rather, sorry, not the inertia, of the Blair Witch Project, was able to generate so much interest. And those movies were huge. They made like 20 fucking Paranormal Activities.
I saw Paranormal Activity, the first one.
It's okay, right?
I hated it. Oh, I hated it so much.
Yeah, it was unsettling. I think it has that really dumb ending that I saw in cinemas, but there's like 5 different cuts of the ending, because in one of them she just turns into a demon and sniffs the camera or something. Like,
yeah, it's silly.
But yeah,
it's a bit silly.
I think Blair Witch is a good call. If you've already seen Silence of the Lambs, Frank, then fuck it, you should watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre, because the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a masterpiece. And everyone
here's the thing: I have seen the remake.
Okay, that's good.
The 2003.
Okay,
well, Frank, watch The Hills Have Eyes, or Wrong Turn, or
which one?
Dog Soldiers, or
I'm like, what's this is a dark room. Like,
fuck.
Can we stop talking
There's
about
one that I hadn't. I was like, there's someone I'm forgetting. Hellraiser. Fucking.
Do you know, I've never seen Hellraiser.
The original Hellraiser, I've only seen the first one. A lot of fun.
Interesting.
A lot of
Apparently,
fun.
there's a film called 13 Ghosts with Matthew Lillard as well.
I know the one you're talking about with
I've never seen
Tony
it.
Shalhoub.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks incredible.
Apparently, it's amazing.
It from memory, there's not a lot to it beyond the fact that it look like it's an astounding looking film, but it's kind of very empty as far as it goes otherwise. But
interesting.
Yeah.
Look, Frank, we'll give you a list. How about we just watch them all together?
Yeah. No, thanks.
Let's do a movie night together, the three of us. We'll watch them. We'll hold hands.
No.
What would you like us to hold instead then?
All right. Should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
I think we'll wrap it up. That's nice.
That was fun.
Talk about
Horror's great. I love horror.
icons.
I wish you liked it more, Frank. I really do.
We'll watch some good horror movies together.
I'm honestly trying to do better. I'm proud of myself for watching Exorcist.
Watch The Descent. Watch The Descent.
Oh my God.
I'm fucking not watching it.
A great modern horror film.
There's truly no way I'll watch that. Like, even reading about cave diving.
Spelunking.
For me.
Go on.
That word is so fucking stupid. I can't even think of a joke. I think for me, horror movies, like the ones that are like based in real world situations that can happen. Like, nah, no way.
So I understand.
But I do want to watch Everest with Jake Gyllenhaal and oh my God, Josh Brolin.
One of the 7,269 people who made it to the top.
Yeah. This is the book. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Great finish to the episode, boys.
Thanks. I thought that was really
strong
tight.
finish.
If anyone's stuck around to the end, thank you. We appreciate you. And let's go to the credits. Very good. I do feel like spooky. I feel like there's something behind me.
Okay.
Frank, what is that?
I can see.
What is that?
So you always have a clown in your room? Just the smiling maniacally?
Honestly, don't. Like, this isn't fun.
He'll turn around and see a mirror, and then he's like, "Oh, there is a cloud."
It's me.
Through the pound.
Thank you for listening to Throw in the Power. My name is Frank.
My name is Marcus.
My name's Dom.
That was horror icons. I guess shoot us a DM and tell us your favorite horror icons, why you love them,
and vote for the one we talk about next.
Yeah. Or one I should watch next.
Yes.
If you want to freak me out.
Ooh, spooky.
Great finish. Ooh, spooky. You fucking idiot. Oh, dear.